Hello everyone, welcome back to Inside 201. Today we are going to talk about the final set of syntax. Um, Today we are going to talk about phrase structure and constituency, the structure inside a sentence and a phrase. Okay. So recall that words or groups of words can sometimes belong to more than one constituent. For example, here we have the binoculars. These two words is a single constituent. However, if these two words, the binoculars, is inside another phrase, then we have a bigger constituent. For example, we can have a proposition preceding the binoculars, and we have with the binoculars. And then with the binoculars is another constituent, which means that we have a nested structure. The binoculars itself is a constituent, and with the binoculars is another constituent. Okay, and it means that we have a hierarchical relationship inside phrase structures. Okay, so we have to come up some ways to represent this hierarchical structure relationship. Okay, so actually we have two ways to do so. One is bracketing, the other is tree diagrams. Okay, here's an example of these two methods to show the structure. Okay, actually the tree structures are easier for human beings to read, right? So each dot in a tree is a single constituent. So we have 5 words here, and as you can see, every word is a single dot in the tree. So each word itself is a constituent, right? And then an N will become NP, and NP will be another constituent. In a bracketing diagram, we use a bracket. We use a bracket to show a pair of bracket to show a constituent, which means that every element, every words within the same pair of brackets is a constituent. Okay, Ernie itself is a N hat, and it becomes a NP as well. Okay, actually we can take a look at this NP, squeaky toys. Okay, squeaky itself is an adjective, and it becomes an adjective phrase. Okay, and then this phrase combined with the N hat with a single word toys, then it becomes a NP, squeaky and toys, squeaky and toys, and it becomes a NP. Now we have a nested construction as well. So toys itself is a constituent, and squeaky toys is another constituent. And then we can have another one. We can have a preposition with, and with combined with this NP, then it becomes a bigger constituent, which is a prepositional phrase. Okay. And then we have B plus the whole PP becomes a VP. And finally, we have MP and VP combined together, and we derive TP. Okay, TP means tense phrase, or just simply a sentence. So there are some formal rules for us to combine constituent to make a bigger constituent. Okay. So a rule could be something like this: TP, a tense phrase, is composed of NP and VP. So this means that TP is made up with these two elements, the nominal phrase and the verb phrase. Okay, in the tree structure, we'll have this. TP consists of NP and VP, and these two would be the subconstituents. And TP itself, two things combined together, is another constituent. And there are some general rules to use this phrase structure rules. Okay, so a generalized rule would be something like this. So we have a phrase, and this phrase, let's call it XP, and XP must have a head X, right? This is the only mandatory element in the right hand side. And then we can have some optional elements like YP. Okay, so here P stands for phrase. XP, this P is phrase. YP, this P is phrase as well. And we have some notation here. Also X, Y, Z are just variables. They can stand for any constituent. It could be an N or V or adjective or prepositional phrase. And we use parentheses to show optionality. So actually, when we put YP inside a parenthesis in this phrase structure rule, then it means that YP plus is an optional element to derive a XP. And optional, what XZP is optional as well. And you may be wondering what this plus sign means. Okay, it means you can have one or more. So this would means one YP or two YP or more YPs. Okay. Here is a real example for how to derive a noun phrase, NP. Okay. So in English, we have these examples. All of them except for the final one are NP. So we can have sheep, we can have the sheep, we can have woolly sheep, the woolly sheep, the big woolly sheep. We have a determiner as well, the big woolly sheep. So as we can see, the only elements that occur at every position and every string is sheep. So actually sheep will be the head of this phrase. And because sheep is a N, so it's a noun, so the whole thing would be NP. Okay. And as we can see, we can have a single word sheep as a NP, right? And we can have so many elements. We can have four words together to form a NP. Then it means that the big woolly, the three elements are optional. To show this, we can have this rule. NP consists of optional determiner, multiple adjectival phrase, and then the head, the N, right? So it means that this guy will be optional, this guy will be optional, this guy is optional as well. And we have adjective phrase plus, right? So we can have multiple ones. Okay. A noun phrase can also have propositional phrases inside it. For example, the sheep in the field. We have a propositional phrase here, right, in the field. And we can have more than one propositional phrase. The sheep in the field, the first propositional phrase with the black face. With the black face is another prepositional phrase. And also we can have more than one. The ship, more than two actually. The ship in the field with the black face, with the black face from Wales, right? So we can have three prepositional phrases. Actually, we can have as many as you like. So we can use the plus notation again. So an NP consists of an optional determiner followed by any number of optional adjective phrases, followed by a noun, which is the head, and any number of optional prepositional phrases. Okay. Okay, so the rule for NP would be like this. Optional determiner, multiple adjective phrases, the noun head, and multiple prepositional phrases. And using this phrase structure rule, we can derive this tree. We have the determiner, and we have two adjective phrases, and then we have the head noun, and then an optional prepositional phrase. Okay. Now let's take a look at adjectives and adverbs. Both adjectives and adverbs can stand alone as phrases, so we will have these two phrase structure rules. So ADJP, adjective phrase, can just consist of a single adjective. Same for the adverb phrase. A single adverb can become a adverb phrase. And both adjective and adverb can be modified by another adverb phrase. For example, we can have woolly modified by very, very woolly, right here, the very woolly sheep, right? And also quickly can be modified by another adverb phrase as well, rather quickly, right? So we have these two. We can modify the rules with an optional adverb phrase. Okay. Now we can think about there are some subtle difference in these two strings. We have a very big woolly sheep and a very woolly sheep. You should notice that here big and very are modifying different things. Here big in the big woolly sheep modifies sheep, right? And here very does not modify sheep. Instead, it modifies woolly, right? You have the intuition. So we will have two different tree structures for these two strings. Specifically, here, big and sheep are in the same level, right? And here, very is the same, would be a sister of woolly, but not a sister of sheep. Can you see the difference? So we have another constituent which group very woolly together. So here is the rule, the principle of multiplication. So if some phrase modify the head of another phrase, for example y, then the modifying phrase, the modifier sp must be sister with y. Okay, so big is the modifier, and it is going to modify sheep. right? So this phrase must be a sister with sheep. Make sense? Okay. On the other hand, what very modifies is woolly. So this modifier very must be a sister with woolly. So we have a sisterhood. Sisterhood means they have the same mother. Okay, they are the same inside the same constituent. Okay, adjective phrase. Right? Can you see? You can see a difference. Okay. Now let's take a look at prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase consists of a preposition word. For example, we have an inside, under, through here, and another element is MP. So we have here, for example, we have the jellyfish. We can have a prepositional phrase inside the jellyfish. We can have inside an iceberg as well, inside a fence, right? Okay. Okay, now verb phrases. A verb phrase can be just a bare verb, for example, like ate here, the sheep ate. Or it can have other optional elements like adverb phrase, MP, and prepositional phrases inside too. So, for example, here we have a adverb phrase, and the adverb phrase can precede the head verb as well, right? Quickly ate, and we can have two adverb. Always ate quickly, right? And we can have more than one adverb preceding the the head. So we can use the plus sign here, right? And this example shows the optional prepositional phrases inside a VP. We can have near the heel as the first prepositional phrase. And another one by the fence is another prepositional phrase. Okay, so in the tree structure, we'll have something like this. We'll have two prepositional phrases near the heel by the fence inside a VP, and then we can have a adverb phrase preceding the VP, the V head. Okay, always ate the grass near the heel by the fence. And also there could be an optional MP following the head verb, the grass. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about sentences, or you can call it tense phrases. Actually, last time in the previous lecture, we tried to define sentences using our intuition. Now we can have a formal definition for sentences. In other words, sentences are TP, tense phrases. And what is a tense phrase? A tense phrase consists of two elements, an MP and a VP. This is a English rule. So in English, neither MP and VP are optional. And if we have an MP and VP, then we have a sentence. Then we have a TP. So here is an example of a TP. So we have a VP here, and then we have the MP, and this MP is the subject. Okay. And actually, this TP rule is kind of strange because normally the head is not optional, but here inside a TP we do not have a T head for this example, and sometimes we can have a T T head inside TP as well. So, but as you can see in this example, the head of TP is optional in English. So sometimes we can have an optional model or auxiliary verb, and which carries the label T. For example, in this case, might is the head of T. So the TP rule would be like this: TP consists of NP, an optional T, and then VP. Okay. And then we can talk about embedded clauses. For example, we can have sentences like this: Ernie wondered whether his mother would never fit him. So what is this guy here? Begin with whether and something, and also example that the thunder was scary. So actually these elements are CP. C stands for complementizer, and that whether are the head of C. So the rule for CP is CP consists of an optional C and a sentence. Because that sometimes is optional. For example, if we compare these two sentences, that is optional. In other words, C is optional for CP. Some phrase structure rules would have a property of recursion. Okay, so the ability to embed clauses within clauses is referred to as recursion. And this recursion property is very special, very unique to human languages, and which can make human language infinite. For example, we can make a infinitely long sentences. And here's an example of recursion. So for example, we have a NP rule, which is NP consists of N and PP. And then we have a PP rule, which is PP consists of P and NP. And these two rules will call each other. So for example, we have MPP, and MP, this PP can contain a MP, and then MP goes back to call PP. Then we can have a structure like this: MP with an head and a PP, and then PP goes with another MP, and then this MP can consist of another PP, right? So it can go on and on. This is a recursion. Okay.